am reacting to your wrestling hot takes. This is the first hot takes video of the year, so I'm excited to read your debauchery that you've sent me. I do these videos once a week, so if you want to be part of next week's hot takes video, make sure that you're following me on X. The link will be down in the description of this video. I ask for your hot takes on there every Thursday, so just keep a lookout for that. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, look, you're gonna like this channel. We upload daily wrestling content. I think I'm like one of the few that's actually doing this, so please subscribe. You know the saying. Let's read some stupid shit. Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful.com sends me a picture of hot cakes. I mean, I asked for hot takes, but fair enough. Damien Priest should cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase on Gunther, but none of y'all are ready to talk about it. You want to know why none of us are ready to talk about it? Because we hate the idea of the Money in the Bank briefcase being used on mid-card titles. We didn't like it when they did it for Austin Theory, and we're not gonna like it if they do it again with Damien Priest. The Money in the Bank briefcase is starting to lose value every year after year, whether it's because of buffoonery with failed cash-ins like it's been going on with Damien Priest and even with Austin Theory, and it definitely lost a lot of value when Austin Theory was holding it when he cashed in unsuccessfully, by the way, on the United States Championship. We need to regain the value of the Money in the Bank briefcase. Not only should he be going for the world title, but it needs to be at a monumental moment in time so that we can regain the prestige of this briefcase back. Solo Sikoa will win the Royal Rumble. No, he will not. They need to stop announcing the Royal Rumble participants before the Rumble. It takes some of the fun and wonder if your favorite superstar is in it. Yeah, I'm with you. I do like the surprise aspect of the Royal Rumble, and I don't understand the concept of announcing people beforehand. I do like when they used to do like the little lottery pool right before the Rumble match. You'd go in and pick your number. They haven't done that in a very long time, so I think it'd be cool if they did that as well. But yeah, I like the idea of just not knowing who's in the Rumble, not knowing if your favorite superstar made it in, not knowing what sort of legends are going to come back. I do feel like the Rumble has been missing that surprise factor for the last couple of years, so I'm with you. WrestleMania is good without The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Have it headline Elimination Chamber, then do Roman versus Cody at WrestleMania. WrestleMania 40 will be stacked without it. I'm so torn about this because when I look at The Rock versus Roman Reigns, which is the match that we all were clamoring for last year before they announced Cody versus Roman Reigns when Cody won the Royal Rumble. Like, it's the match we wanted. It's the match that made sense. It's the match that could have really culminated the storyline of the Bloodline with how white hot the Bloodline storyline was back then. But they weren't able to execute it back then, so it does feel like The Rock versus Roman Reigns is a little bit too late. There's other things that have risen in terms of importance that we want to see over The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Still, this is The Rock versus Roman Reigns, people. This shouldn't be on any other show aside from WrestleMania. Yes, I want Cody versus Roman as well, but I'm just looking at the situation that we've been dealt, the cards that have been laid out, and if The Rock is there and Roman is going up against them, I don't want that at Elimination Chamber, man. That needs to be at the biggest show of them all, WrestleMania. Sadly, a hot take here, but there's way too much meat on the Bloodline bones to have Roman drop the belts. I still want to see him face Bobby Lashley, CM Punk, Rock, do Bloodline versus AJ and the OC, Judgment Day, even Solo Sikoa. Also, we'll never be this close to breaking Hogan's record again. So I'm gonna agree and disagree and play devil's advocate here. I was of this exact same mindset last year when I'm like, there's just too much story to tell with the Bloodline. They still need to tell the Bloodline Civil War, which I was using that verbiage before they started calling it the Bloodline Civil War. So I ask, where are my royalty checks, WWE? But I look, the reason I want to disagree with you is because you listed all of these awesome things that Roman Reigns still has to do. You mentioned a match with Lashley, Punk, Rock, a feud with the Judgment Day, maybe a match with Solo Sikoa. Yeah, those are all great things. But when you have Roman Reigns, a guy that appears like 10 times a year, I don't think any of these things are actually going to happen. So when we want to say that we don't want Roman to lose because X, Y, and Z has yet to happen, I think that we're living in a lie, because I don't think those things are going to happen with how little Roman Reigns actually appears on the damn show. I want to agree with you because you're right. I want to see all of those things. And you're right. We're so close to Hogan's record, but I don't think that we'll actually get those cool things in return for having Roman Reigns hold the championship for much longer. Hey guys, is daily videos not enough content for you? Well, why not check out my Patreon, patreon.com/SantiZap, where you're gonna get even more video content. You're gonna get my Raw reviews, you're gonna get my SmackDown reviews, and NXT reviews. All of those will never be uploaded to YouTube, and you're gonna get the Wrestling is Cool podcast 3 days early, as well as the mailbag videos that again are not available on YouTube. So again, if you want more content, patreon.com/SantiZap, check the link in the description or check the pinned comment. All right, back to the video. The whole NXT roster deserves a call up at this point. They're all better than the main roster folks in ring. I disagree. I do think that there is a lot of fantastic talent in NXT, but they're in NXT for a reason, okay? Let's not forget that. It is still a developmental league for the WWE. There are some people that are definitely main roster ready and have been main roster ready for a very long time, like Braun Breaker, but he wasn't main roster ready 2 years ago. Carmelo Hayes, I don't think he was main roster ready like 3 years ago. We have Ilya Dragunov. He's been main roster ready for a while, but there's some people in there that still need to season up, like Tiffany Stratton has only been wrestling for 2 years. Yes, she's fantastic, but imagine how much better she could be if we just give them the time to develop. Let NXT develop people and let the main roster have some stories ready for them to call up rather than just arbitrarily calling them up. But also, no, most of the people on the main roster are better in-ring performers than the people on NXT. Maybe they just don't get showcased as such. Japan deserves to have a premium live event too. I agree. I think the last time that there was a major show in Japan was Beast from the East, but that wasn't even like a proper premium live event. That was like one of those like special house shows that was televised. It was weird, but I really enjoyed it, and I like how different the Japanese crowd is compared to the crowds that we're used to. I feel like they would add a really interesting dynamic, and the WWE right now has two things going for it where I think it could have a fantastic show in Japan. One, it has a plethora of fantastic Japanese superstars on its roster right now. Okay, we've got Shinsuke, Asuka, Io, and of course Kairi Sane. Like, we've got these huge names that could easily be used to market a great show in Japan. And then on top of that, we have the partnership with All Japan Pro Wrestling, potentially a partnership with Stardom over in Japan. I think the WWE is going to be placing their flag there very, very soon, and maybe coming for some New Japan Pro Wrestling market share. Takeshita is an absolute monster and should be given the fastest push to the top of AEW. Don Callas is holding him back. Dude, Takeshita is incredible. If you don't watch AEW, Takeshita is one of the best rising young up-and-comers in AEW. He is consistently putting on match of the night after match of the night after match of the night, and he is managed by a guy named Don Callas. Think of him like Dollar General Howie Mandel if you're trying to picture who he is. He's very much a wannabe Paul Heyman, and I just don't think he's anywhere near as good. I do think that he's not a particularly great manager, but Takeshita needs a mouthpiece, and I think Don Callis is probably the best one at the moment for him. You need to make it to WWE to be considered to have an all-time great professional wrestling career. Imagine being considered an all-time great basketball player, but never making it to the NBA. Damn, okay, I think we're cooking with fire. This is a proper hot take here, dude. I mean, yeah, dude, the comparison that you made here is a logical one, especially the NBA example. If you want to be the greatest basketball player of all time, you definitely need to be in the NBA. That's the big leagues. If you want to be the greatest baseball player, you need to have a great career in the MLB. Same with football. You can't just be a great college player. You have to go and have a fantastic career in the NFL to be considered an all-time great in football. I never really thought about that for professional wrestling as well. And I think it may be because of the scripted nature of things and also the politics involved in professional wrestling when it comes to like knowing the right people and being liked in the back, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, like if we're comparing apples to apples, like the WWE would be the NBA of basketball. So if we're following that logic, then yeah, I do perhaps agree with you that you need to have a career in the WWE to be considered an all-time great. But professional wrestling just isn't apples to apples to professional sports. It is inherently different enough for me to actually disagree here. I think you can be an all-time great in other places. I mean, like Sting was an all-time great already and didn't step foot into the WWE until 2015. So there's examples of all-time greats that didn't step foot into the WWE. So I'm gonna disagree, but I really, you made me think here. Batista isn't respected enough as an all-time great. Batista in his prime was amazing, and he did a great job putting over the Shield and Daniel Bryan during his 2014 run. I think Batista gets love and adoration for his run during his prime. I just think that he left the WWE in the middle of his prime, which is maybe why like the current crop of WWE fans may have missed the beast, the animal that was Batista, and really only know him from watching YouTube videos or hearsay story from other wrestling fans. But in the moment, like Batista was definitely a superstar and was regarded as a top player by wrestling fans. So I'll push back a little bit there. However, I 100% agree with you. He does not get enough love and enough respect for what he did in 2014 to help put over the next generation of WWE superstars in the Shield and Daniel Bryan. Yeah, I mean, the dude tapped out to a guy half of his size. We don't talk about that enough, seriously. In my opinion, 2023 was the best year in WWE history outside of the Attitude Era. Look, it was close to maybe being the greatest year in professional wrestling. I think it set up 2024 to be the greatest year in professional wrestling. One of the things that 2023 definitely had over any of the years of the Attitude Era, it has a major leg up when it comes to women's wrestling, because women's wrestling was basically non-existent during the Attitude Era times. So definitely women's wrestling wins in 2023. However, one thing that was missing in 2023 was, I think, consistency with the weekly programming being great. And I think part of the problem with the consistency was that like 3-4 month stretch where Vince McMahon was kind of back and you could sense, these shows aren't as good as they used to be. So if 2024 is going to be all of the best parts of 2023 built up on the good things of 2023 without Vince McMahon to ruin the momentum, I think 2024 is going to be the best year in professional wrestling. I think 2023 was almost there, but not quite. Jumping from the promotion that helped put you on the map to WWE or AEW is one of the most disrespectful things you can do, because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be as popular as you are today. So I guess he's saying, like, if you made your name in WWE and then you jump ship to AEW, it's disrespectful because the WWE made you as popular as you are today, and vice versa. If you were made in AEW, you go to WWE, it's disrespectful. This is a ludicrous take. No disrespect to you because I don't know you, but this is the type of opinion from somebody that has never had a career before. Because if you've had a career, if you've had jobs in the past, you know that at the end of the day, you are a revenue vehicle for that company. That company, from a personal standpoint, does not give a fuck about you. They are there to rinse you to try and make money from you, okay? So why, if they don't have loyalty to you, if they're willing to just let you go the moment that you aren't as profitable as you once were, why should you hold that company to a level that they won't hold you? Why should you be loyal to the teeth with them if they aren't willing to do that for you? Jobs are jobs, and if you're going to be treated better somewhere else, if you're going to make more money somewhere else, you should never feel bad about leaving a company behind. Like, that is adulting 101. If there are better opportunities elsewhere, you should 100% take those opportunities and not feel like you shouldn't take that opportunity because it's disrespectful to some faceless organization that just sees you as a number and is making money from you. Dog, I'm sorry, I wholeheartedly disagree with this. There's nothing disrespectful about it. People here are there to make money. They're there to do a job, and if they're gonna be compensated better somewhere else, they should 100% go without feeling some sort of weird guilt that you're talking about here. I'm just gonna say it. Our Truth Judgment Day storyline is just gonna be a copy paste of the Sami Zayn Bloodline storyline. So that sounds great. The Bloodline storyline with Sami Zayn is arguably the best portion of the Bloodline storyline and the best maybe potentially storyline in WWE history. If they can even replicate half of the magic, I am down for that. I don't think it's going to be one-to-one a copy-paste because R-Truth and Sami Zayn are inherently different characters with different motivations. R-Truth is delusional and just believes that he is one of them. Meanwhile, Sami Zayn understood that he was an outsider and was doing everything in his power to try and gain the trust so that he would be accepted and have a family within the WWE. Their motivations are very, very different. I see like where you're coming from, like from the comedic side of things, but like the R-Truth Judgment Day storyline will never turn into a storyline where R-Truth is now main eventing WrestleMania and having world title matches. It's not going to be like that. The Royal Rumble needs more storylines than just, I won a WrestleMania main event match. Dude, I agree with you. I do think that we're missing that. There were times where the Rumble was built around storylines that were told within the Royal Rumble match. I think the best example of it is Shawn Michaels going into the Royal Rumble match purely for the basis of getting a rematch with The Undertaker, and they told a really great storyline around that. It doesn't happen very often, but when they executed really well, it ends up being like really, really fantastic. So I agree with you. I would like to see more storylines, different motivations as to why people want to win the Royal Rumble match, as opposed to, yeah, I want a main event WrestleMania. I'm with you. The Rock and Roman should be a year-long build until next WrestleMania. I mean, they've got the formula for it. They've done it before. This match and the people in this match definitely has the star power to keep people's attention for a year. The problem is that when they did it with The Rock and John Cena was there every week to remind us that John Cena is in this journey that will culminate with a match with The Rock. Roman Reigns is not there every week, so this just wouldn't work because Roman Reigns is just as absent as The Rock. Nick Nemeth will be one of the top names in professional wrestling by summer 2024. For those that don't know, Nick Nemeth is the formerly known Dolph Ziggler, who now is over in New Japan Pro Wrestling, which good for him. I wonder if he feels any sort of guilt or feels like that he disrespected the WWE because he went to some other organization. Are we starting to see why that was a stupid hot take earlier? I mean, I'm down for it. I hope he does fantastic stuff in New Japan. I hope that he's able to reinvent himself. We've seen it before. We have seen people reinvent themselves in other wrestling organizations outside of the WWE and made their star power even brighter. I think a great example of that is Drew Galloway, now Drew McIntyre. So I hope the same thing happens for Dolph Ziggler. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits are not making an impact. The hype they got is also gone. They need to be dominating to make some impact. So this is, I think, just a symptom of Triple H in general. When you look at most of the factions that Triple H has built from the ground up, for some reason, they always struggle for like almost the first year. The Judgment Day struggled off the get-go, and a lot of people are just like, disband this shit at like 6 months into the existence of the Judgment Day. Damage Control really struggled. For like the first year, it struggled. The Latino World Order struggled, and it took a while for them to find a storyline that people kind of cared about in the heel turn of Santos Escobar. So maybe it's the same thing that we're seeing here. So I'm hopeful that with enough time, there will be a moment in time where WWE Creative realizes that they need to finally do something with these guys, and they're going to push them. So I say be a little bit more patient, but I think you're correct to be worried. Daniel Bryan going to AEW made people realize how good he is. He was underrated and underappreciated in the WWE. I don't think he was underrated and underappreciated. I think he was more so underutilized and was only allowed to go at like 60% of his skill and speed and tenacity, because we are seeing him at 100% over in AEW, which has its ups and downs. Why? Okay, I'm done. Okay, look, I promise that's my last Simon Miller reference. The reason why it's great is because it leads to fantastic matches, and we have been seeing some amazing Bryan Danielson matches over in AEW. However, the downside of it, because he's going at 100%, is that he gets these gruesome injuries every like 4 months. This dude has to wrestle with an eye patch right now because he broke his orbital bone. Before that, he snapped his arm in half in front of me at a live audience in Toronto for Forbidden Door. So it's got its ups and downs, I guess, to have him go at this full of speed in AEW. Jay White should have gone to the WWE. He would have been treated better and how he deserves to be treated because he's a great professional wrestler. I think the timing was poor. The timing of the Jay White free agency, to me, leads me to believe that he signed with the right company, because when he was rumored to maybe potentially come to the WWE, that's also, weirdly enough, the same time that Vince kind of took back power of creative. So we would have had Jay White debuting in a WWE that was creatively controlled by Vince McMahon. I don't like that. I'm glad that he went over to AEW, even though I don't think that they're doing the best job with him either. Kurt Angle sits at the wrestling Mount Rushmore. Depends on your definition of Mount Rushmore, because I'm of the mind that you can have different categorical Mount Rushmores, like greatest character worker, greatest heel Mount Rushmore. I think if we were to say greatest technical wrestler Mount Rushmore, yeah, dude, he's the George Washington of that goddamn Mount Rushmore. Coming from Anaya Jax Hater, her latest run looks like she's been putting in more effort and trying to be safer. I'll have to eat my words alongside you. Nia Jax has been fantastic ever since she returned. Hell, she just had the best match of her entire career. She has been a much better character worker. I think she's been a much more entertaining in-ring performer as well. She's been safer and has been putting on quality matches. So yeah, dude, I agree with you. I honestly don't care about seeing Rock versus Roman at this point, and even less so seeing it at WrestleMania. Oh man, we wrestling fans, we can be fickle sometimes, and we can turn on things in just a heartbeat like that. Like I said earlier in this video, this is like the match that we wanted, and now the community is split between the two. I'm of the mind that once they do the build-up for this, I think the people that are in the same boat as you, that just don't care about this, are gonna suddenly care. It's The Rock, dude. It's the people's champion. But I get it. Like I said, I understand where you're coming from, but I do think that once it comes time to pony up and that match actually happens, it's going to be pretty hype and everyone's going to care about it. All right, folks, thank you very much for watching this. I'm done. Get out of here. Oh.